Hello and welcome to Inside the Mind of, a podcast where I dive deeper into the minds of some of my favorite people and people who inspire me in the wrestling community. I am Katie Kinsey Bebe, your hostess with the mostest, and join with me is one of the most animated people I know. He is the co-owner of Bell to Bells. He is the host of the self-proclaimed Mr. Warren Hayes Show, Mr. Warren Hayes. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Katie. Thank you very, very much for having me. This will be fun.
I'm so excited when we kind of goaded you into doing this, Matt and I.
Mm-hmm.
I was very happy.
Yeah, so it might be fun. I was like, okay, sure. No, but for real, I'm always up for a talk. I'm always up for a chit chat. This is, most of the time it's a question of timing, and everything sort of fell into place really easily. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm glad you invited me on. Thank you very much. I heard Jizzy was on before me.
Yeah.
So you decided to book her before me?
Listen, Warren.
Yeah.
I had to get a woman on, and Jizzy's just Jizzy.
Sure. Okay. Fine then.
Listen, it's gonna be okay. I promise. If this even makes it to the light of day, I could be canceled by now. Who knows?
Oh yeah, well yes, because you did have Jizzy on before me. Indeed, yes. There's a fair chance of that.
It happened. It's a thing. She even said afterwards, you might be canceled. I'm like, that's fine. It was a good run. It's a good year.
It was a good run.
It's a good year. What can I do at this point? Nothing. But you've been a very busy man. Do you want to kind of just tell people what you've been doing this past year?
Oh, this year has been this year's been remarkable. Actually, we had when I say we at Bell to Bells, we had a very good year. Which is our when I say our, okay, let's start over. Bell to Bells has had a great year this year for myself and Kristen Ashley, who is the co-owner. We're actually three co-owners. There's Lauren involved in that as well. We had a very good year this year. There's tons of stuff that just happened, that just came together. Mm-hmm. Matt, I had the chance to interview so many wonderful women talent this year, so many wonderful women wrestlers, and not just wrestlers, women who are involved in wrestling in general. And so did Kristen. Our association through PWI as well, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, that opened up, I'm not going to lie, it opened up a lot of possibilities for us, and possibilities that were just straight up, that just worked really, really well. Kevin McElvany, who's the current editor-in-chief, is a fantastic dude who believes in what we do. So associations working with him were very, very easy. And it just translated into just some fantastic stuff throughout the year. Interviews, being on the women's the top 150 women's list for the PWI this year. That was something a little unexpected, but a thrill for me to be on, and just everything that happened, the celebration that we did once the list was released with everyone that we chatted on there. Like, that's it. What we decided to do with Bell to Bells, we sort of shifted focus, right? At first we were like, our vision, the plan was a news site, right? Mm-hmm. And then as things move along, you realize that at some point it's hard to compete for news, right? Because there's a few people who get the scoops. There's a few people who get the real juicy bits, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone else aggregates. Let's just be straight up honest. That's the thing, right? So at some point, we're like, well, writing op-eds is super cool, but it's also a difficult way to get to get noticed, right? It's also it's again very niche and difficult to break through. Mm-hmm. The news is very tough as well. So at some point, we decided to shift and become. We started to talk more about about doing advocacy for women's wrestling. Trying to just be there, give voices, be a platform, to see these wrestlers and talk to them outside of, you know, actually fighting with people, actually cutting promos, you know, trying to get different visions, different perspectives, and do a lot of promotion of women's wrestling in that way by celebrating the women who are doing it. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm out of breath for some bizarre reason. It's like, geez, I'm pushing 50, but Jesus Christ, man, you know, you're just talking, you know, you're not running a 5-kilometer marathon here. So when we started doing that, things really started everything felt much more put together, and we're very, very proud of where the site is today and everything we do. And the YouTube channel has just exploded thanks to all the interviews that we've been getting. We're fortunate to talk to women from all promotions. Yeah. We talked to women from WWE and AEW, got the chance, of course, tons of independent women and from the NWA, from Rest in Peace, Ring of Honor, from Impact. We even got to talk to Joshi women, which for me is a highlight. Mm-hmm. Because it just doesn't happen all that often, and English interviews don't happen all that often. And it's really cool then, because then the very, very passionate Joshi community comes back to us, gives us feedback and says, thank you very much for giving us, or maybe not thank you, but they say, I don't want to get too presumptuous, but they do say it's very cool to see English language interviews, you know, and because they don't happen all that often. And we're very, like, you know, there's a lot of work that goes into it, yes, mm-hmm. but we're also very fortunate to the people who help us out, to the contacts that we have. We're just very, very fortunate that there's so many people out there who seem to that allows our mission statement, I guess, to resonate with them, and that's really cool.
Yeah, there you go. See,
how's that for an answer?
That's what I want to see, Warren. This is what I wanted. Here we go. So before I start asking you some questions, there's some about podcasting, and then there's just some general knowledge.
Oh, and hey, I got to go. Hey, by the way, I got to go to NWA. That's it. Here's the thing. I don't know why I didn't. I got to go to NWA Power this year because of all of this.
Wait, really?
Empower. Did I say Power? I meant Empower.
Oh, there we go.
To the women's show. Sorry. And I got to see that live because of that, because people were like, hey, let's have Bell to Bells over, and we were invited, and it was absolutely fantastic. And we got, like, I talked to a bunch of people over there, you know, just it really was amazing. And to be there live as well, mm-hmm. And such a great show, great atmosphere, everyone was into it. There's nothing to say. It was a fantastic, it's been a fantastic year. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
I just went, oh my God.
It's okay. It happens all the time to people. Like, you ever just trying so hard to think of something, and then 2 days later you're just minding your own business, and it just like hits you like a ton of bricks. You're like, oh my God, that's what it was.
Thankfully, it didn't happen to me like 10 days from now. We're like, damn it, I forgot to tell Kenzie.
You're gonna message me and be like, I forgot to tell you this. I'm sorry.
We need to splice this in, edit this in.
We'll have another Zoom call real quick. We'll just throw it in. So, how did you get your start into podcasting?
Sort of like out of the blue, like anything. I was writing. I was writing. Is it 2018? Yes, I think 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And I had started writing the writing had started in 2017. I was writing for Daily DDT over on the Fansided network.
Okay.
And started writing there, just, shoot my shot. And the editor at the time there, Joe Soriano, he said, yeah, sure, come on in. I was a completely unproven commodity. I had been listening to some podcasts moving in, and started reading up on stuff. I was listening to Going In Raw, and back then, the What Culture, when the Cultaholic guys were still there, and so I'm sort of getting immersed in everything, and I'm doing the writing thing, and 2018 rolls along, or about around the spring, and I'm sort of like, I'm still writing, but I find it difficult. You know, like I'm finding it, like I'm enjoying it, but I'm also finding it hard because you sort of want to get fun topics. You don't want to do what everyone else is doing. I had a great, like Joe was a fantastic editor. Joe was the kind of editor where if you came with an idea, he'd never strike it down. He'd say, well, have you thought about going maybe down this route? And you're like, oh, this is even better, kind of thing. Like he was very super cool and always proud to have called him boss, you know? And at some point, I'm on Twitter, you know, just a random down Twitter.
Yep.
Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, I don't know if you've heard of him. He tweets out, would anyone like to join me to do a retro pay-per-view review of Great American Bash? I think it was 95. I don't remember.
Okay.
Probably the 95, 94, 95. I opened up my DM. I sent him one. No, not even. I like replied directly. I said, sure, I'd love to do it. He sends me a DM back and he says, do you have a microphone? Do you have a quality microphone? I said, yes, I have a quality microphone. So he says, good, we'll record next Friday at 1 p.m. Does that work for you? Not a problem. So I go out, I hang out, I go out and I go buy myself a quality microphone.
There you go.
You fake it till you make it, right?
Hell yeah.
And that's literally how I started. So I do the recording with Sean. Had a great time doing it. I'm like, I can do this. I can do this. Like, you know, I open up my YouTube channel. I start doing it. Then in the meantime, Sean brings me on Fightful Select to begin with, and I do NXT UK 205 Live reviews. I was on that beat for a while. Then started doing Friday night SmackDown reviews with him. I was part of the Wednesday Night Wars podcast. I was when that started, when Dynamite popped in and then NXT jumped in on Wednesday night. So that was a lot of fun. Did that for a while. Like that's essentially how I got started. And in the meantime, doing my stuff on my end, and you know, just everything clicked. Everything happened from there on. But yeah, I mean, if it hadn't been for Sean, like just tweeting it out there and being like, okay, and me jumping on the opportunity, I don't know if what would have been the other kick in the pants that I would have needed to go forward with it.
Isn't it crazy that Twitter just becomes this thing, this own entity where opportunities can be made? Just from a tweet.
There's a lot of garbage on Twitter, okay? Let's not sit here and go, Twitter, what a wonderful area to make meaningful connections with your fellow men. You know, it's like, no. Twitter's a hell site, right?
True.
It's like, you know, it's literally like the, you know, you've played Minecraft, right? You know,
once or twice, yeah.
When you dig down all the way, you know, and you eventually get to the lava, right? Well, that's it. That Twitter is the lava. Like at first you'll be like, oh, this is fun. You know, you're going to, the first few people you chat with, then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, there's all these people, you know, all this junk, these big brained opinions happening around here. Oh, look, they're replying to me.
Okay, 9 times out of 10, Twitter is toxic as hell and terrible.
Yes.
That one time, every once in a while.
It's the quality, right?
It's
but for real, I agree with you. It's when you do find these people, these gems, these individuals where you're like, oh wow, okay, this was worthwhile. Because I you know, of course, exaggerating a little, I've made some meaningful connections with some great people on Twitter. A lot of people who follow me on Twitter as well. You know, we have some really who follow me on follow the podcast is what I'm trying to say.
There you go.
And they reach out to me on Twitter, and we have some, you know, there are fun exchanges to be had. Don't get me wrong. It's just sometimes there's a lot of sifting that you have to do, and sometimes that's what's gets exhausting. Jesus Christ, am I
like
gonna be
English.
able to continue talking?
Yeah,
like
okay.
English. Yeah, I think I'm fine. Hopefully I'm not having a stroke.
I would hope not. I don't know. Honest to God, I would.
If I do have a stroke, Katie, you have my entire permission to put it on Twitter.
No.
And get the views. Okay, it's all about the views.
Jesus Christ, Warren.
but I get to monetize it. That's the trade-off.
Whoa now. I don't even have a custom URL. You cannot be out here trying to monetize my videos. Wait a minute.
Well, I mean,
Wait a damn minute here. Can I get the
I'll
copyright
copyright claim
first?
my stroke in a second. You'll see. I'll be like TV Asahi when you post a Toruyano gif. It'll be all over you.
Oh my god. See, this is exactly why I wanted to have you on for this. This is great. Oh, this is so fun. So
what were we talking about?
No, you explained how you got your start.
Oh yeah.
So how many episodes would you roughly say you've done of your podcast?
I've done more than 10 for sure. Definitely more than 10.
Damn it.
That's my
since
educated
2018 guess. You do one okay.
Well, here, hang on.
Yeah, wait.
We'll do this live. Look, let me pop on the old YouTube channel here.
No? This is why we do this.
And do we have some kind of
I don't know if there's a way to actually like count. Unless you put them in like a playlist, maybe.
Yeah, or hang on, let me go to the studio. Give me a second here. I didn't, but honestly, like I've done so many. If I go to the live count, and let's say I scroll down. Okay, look, there's 30 videos per page.
Okay.
Okay, when you display it.
Uh-huh.
And I have about 910. There you go. I just did the math. About 910
Jesus.
episodes.
Oh my god.
In all sorts of forms, yes.
Yeah. So out of those 910 episodes, that's a number. Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have off the top of your head, because again, you came in here blind, not knowing the questions I was going to ask, do you have a favorite episode? Or I'll make it a little easier for you, since you've done a shit ton of interviews. Do you have a favorite interview? Or a few that come to mind?
Okay, well, I'll do two. How about that? Because the interviews are really the interview's a good question. I think my favorite episode. Okay, look, I'll go for two as well. Okay,
that's fine.
I think my first favorite episode was the first person I ever had on as a guest on my podcast when I started doing prediction shows, and I was like, it'll be fun to have someone on. And that first guest was my fiance to be, Kristen Ashley.
Oh, that's cute. Okay.
We were both working at Fansided. That's how we met. We were both writers there.
Love that.
And we were extremely good friends. We got along super well. And I was like, why don't you come on my podcast? You'll be my first guest. We'll try stuff. Like, I felt comfortable because I was like, look, shit is gonna go wrong. It's the first time I'm doing this live with a guest. So she did that, and so that's a good one. Yeah. Myself, Tony from the former Smark to Death podcast, and JPQ, Big Paws on a Pup of the No Particular Angle podcast. We'd get together once in a while when there were big New Japan events, and we talk about the New Japan event. We'd either, if it was about the G1, we'd do some bracketology. If we just finished watching Dominion, we'd wrap up Dominion, But the three of us had such amazing charisma. Not charisma, chemistry. We did have a lot of charisma, but the chemistry we had, the three of us together, like they're still two very good friends of mine, even though both of them have sort of taken a step back from podcasting.
Yeah.
And I will always remember those great moments. We'd put on our jackets so that we look professional, something with a collar. We called ourselves the Blazer Bros.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was my that was our thing. And we did a few of those. We when you do these types of podcasts and then you actually start developing inside jokes.
Yeah.
With the that was fun.
Yep.
The Juice Robinson being a B+ player is one of them. Like it's just fantastic stuff. And I miss having them around. Not gonna lie.
Bring them back. You can
I wish.
Bring them back.
I wish. I don't have the money. And as far as interviews go, Oh, I've interviewed so many wonderful, wonderful women.
You have.
I was super lucky to have a chance to interview Kylie Ray at NWA Empower, and she didn't give a lot of interviews. She's, obviously she doesn't right now. All the best to you, Kylie, by the way. She was very kind. She was at her booth, and I just came up and I asked, and we sort of worked it out, and she was like, yeah, let's do it. And that I feel it was a short interview, 5 minutes, I'd say, something like that, a little less. But very fortunate, that's the kind of thing that I felt really good about. I interviewed Hyann is one of my favorite interviews. I've interviewed her twice. Hyann is fantastic. She's so nice and such a talented wrestler too. I'm so glad that there's good things that seem to be on the horizon for her. That's fantastic. Got to interview Priscilla Kelly before she became Gigi Dolan.
Okay. So
that's really dope. She was also so sweet. These women are so great, Kinsey. That's the thing. It's like most of the time, like I'll finish an interview, and I'll tell Kristen, "Hey, I'm done," and she said, "How does it go?" I'll say, "She was just super sweet." Yeah. That's usually all, and it's just that's what you say about all of them. Well, it's true. They're all wonderful, and they love to talk. They love to talk about what they do. Yeah. It's just fantastic stuff. Mercedes Martinez, I talked to 55 minutes with one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. That's a big deal. And she spilled the beans. Like, she talked about retribution. She talked about, how she was like, nah, I'm not doing this, son. Like she was like, basically y'all can go listen to the interview, because she also talks about how she got into the business, and she wrestled with Alpha. Well, she was not with Alpha, but the NOIE family. She wrestled for their promotion, so she knows all these people. She knows Alpha. So it's really interesting for her to go listen to how all of this started. But then, when we start talking about retribution and so on, she basically says, they gave me the mask and said, I can't wrestle with this mask. I have asthma. If you had asked me, well, what do you think about this? Or showed me a prototype, I would have told you, I can't wrestle in this. I will literally choke. Okay. Yeah. And then the rest of the story is there. It's fantastic. Yuka Sakazaki she is adorable, but like mind-blowingly adorable. I tell her why she got into wrestling because, first of all, she wanted to do comedy. Okay. This is the story she says. I wanted to do wrestling because I wanted to get into comedy, and there's this Japanese comedian, apologies if I don't remember the name. She says this Japanese comedian, her thing was that she'd do the comedy bit and then she'd wrestle an animal. So that's what I wanted to do. And I'm like, of course, right? In Japan, the comedians wrestle animals, right? As they should. So I asked Yuka, I said, well, if you had gone down this route, what animal would you have liked to wrestle? And I'm expecting a koala bear. A kiwi bird, something small. Yeah, a handful of gerbils. No, she says a Komodo dragon. I lose it. I just lose it.
Of all things, a Komodo dragon?
Yeah, which is huge and violent and strong and nasty, That's amazing. Awesome little bubbly, sparkly Yuka Sakazaki, it's wild. Mei Saruga is also fantastic, and her partner Aki over in Choco Pro. Those guys, Aki he's fantastic. He's such a passionate about the business. I was supposed to pick one, right? Deanna Parazzo. I spoke to Deanna twice on top of that.
I usually just say like one, but I like when people give multiple answers.
And then I talked to, because I'm listing off wrestlers, right? But I talked to Gia Miller, who is like who's the Impact backstage correspondent, right? Okay. Who recently, Ace Austin's girlfriend, they recently lost everything in a fire, right? They lost their apartment, right? But this was months ago before all of this disaster happened. She is delightful. She's wonderful, and she loves the business. Talk about how she came through. So that's the cool thing, is that you get to talk to all these people. And then I'm talking about women and women and women, a couple of dudes. Then I get, then I talk to LGBTQ people, non-binary people, dark chic, the name's on the tip of my tongue. Edith Surreal, again, and fantastic people with more great stories and from a completely different perspective on top of that, so it was such a rich, fascinating year for that. And I'm sorry, I can't pick one.
It's okay.
Well, look, if I were to pick one, it's completely biased. It's Mercedes Martinez, but that's because she really is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I think she's one of the greatest to ever do it.
Yeah.
And I hope that wrestling maintains enough independence so that we can still recognize the contributions that a lot of wrestlers have had, and that we don't depend on WWE for the history of wrestling, because WWE will skew and obscure whatever they want in regards to the history of wrestling to suit their narrative, right? Because it's a corporation, and I don't blame them for doing that. That's what they're supposed to do. Their job is not to make sure that the history of wrestling is preserved. A corporation doesn't give a shit about that. A corporation wants to make money. Mm-hmm. That's why you need outside forces. That's why you need this quote unquote dirt sheets to maintain, to keep the history alive, to make sure that we are able to remember the things that happened in the past. Not necessarily just, the bad stuff. I'm talking about like legitimate legacies of wrestlers that you won't necessarily hear all that much about unless they do make it to a large national promotion. Mm-hmm. But a woman like Mercedes Martinez, her contribution to the business and to women's wrestling is insane. Yeah. It's just ridiculous. The first she wrestled Sarah Del Rey on the first Shimmer show, 2004, I want to say 2002, 2004, on the very first show. And it's out there on YouTube if you guys want to take a look at it. It is a I'm going to spoil it, ends in a draw, 20-minute time limit draw. But this is in an era where women on a wrestling program are expected to fight in bra and panties matches and pillow fights and bullshit like that. Yep. And then you turn around and you get Sarah Del Rey, Mercedes Martinez, tearing the house down, getting a standing ovation from 75 people in, an American Legion room or whatever, wherever they are, wherever the venue is. Like, it's not a theater or anything, it's like it's not a gymnasium, but a Knights of Columbus place or whatever. And the place just explodes. And you yourself, and you watch it today, this match still holds up. You look at this like 15 years ago, 15 plus, and they're doing things that the women are doing commonplace today. They're like, these are legitimate trailblazers, and we have to be able to recognize them.
I mean, I agree, especially Mercedes Martinez, who doesn't get like the credit she deserves for as much as she's done and how long she's been in the business. Like that, I feel like women, especially women who have been in the business as long as they've been, like, they deserve credit. Like Mercedes, oh my god, off the top of my head, I thought I was gonna have a list. I don't.
Well, Sarah Del Rey is a very good example.
There you go.
Right there. We can go to women like Jazz, as well. Never forget Gail Kim and what she tried to do as well in
Gail
WWE and was successful in Impact. What's that?
Gail Kim's an icon.
Oh, she's fantastic. Oh yeah,
she's great. Like
absolutely,
Gail Kim can do no wrong at this point. Like,
no, you're right.
Give her everything. Give it all to Gail Kim. I don't even care anymore.
It's a woman who stuck to her guns. That's the thing. Like she did not want to play what WWE wanted her to play. Of course, there's all the nasty racism on top of that, but that's a whole other,
That's a whole other podcast.
But at the very core, like, they wanted her to do the sexy bullshit. It's like, no, I didn't train to be a wrestler to come and do this.
And you have
to respect that.
Yeah. Love that. I like that. I also just love that you gave me about like 17 answers. So we got a little all over the place, and I love it.
Oi, Riley Shepard. Shout out to Riley. Riley is she I don't know if you've heard of her.
I have no.
She's a wrestler out. She's a northeastern based, and she wrestles for WWR Plus a lot, which is an offshoot of Beyond Wrestling. She's wrestled on a Beyond show, I think, as well. Like, you get to see her on IWT, independentwrestling.tv is what I'm trying to say. Riley is so cool, and she is a complete and utter geek. Like that, and that's her gimmick. Like, she calls herself the guardian of the geeks, and she comes out with the paladin armor and the sword and everything. And I interviewed her. We spent like 30 minutes talking about LARPing and video games, and that's cool. And she's just great. I don't know what to tell you. She's just great on top of that.
Listen, I love the variety of people you have. I mean, just from the names you've said alone, like the variety you have. Because most people are like, oh, I'm going to try and get the biggest name of biggest promotions, whatever. You're basically being like, you're doing something cool. Let me interview you. And I love that, honestly.
Don't get me wrong. We all like the big interviews.
Well, obviously, but
we interviewed Ty Conti, right?
I love her.
That was our first AEW interview ever. We reached out and they said, sure, Ty Conti, absolutely.
That's insane.
And I'm like, and I was like, that's fine. And again, what a delight. She's absolute. But she's really what you see is what you get kind of person.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, when you talk a little bit beforehand, you do the warm up, you just try some stuff up, Yep. She's the same. She's the same as what you see on TV, as you see her in the interview. And when you're talking, she's really a what you see is what you get kind of person. Everyone says, she looks so nice. She looks delightful. She's so nice. She's delightful. But that being said, don't get me wrong. You like to get the big interviews. You like to get the ones that are a little juicier, like Tay. You like to talk to Mercedes Martinez, who just left the company and hasn't given a lot of interviews, and suddenly she's like, yeah, I'll give you the interview.
Yeah.
Then you talk 50 minutes with her. It's like, you like that kind of stuff, right? Of course. But women's wrestling is so diverse in both, in every sense of the word, actually. There's not just two appellations. And it's so diverse, and there are so many women wrestling everywhere in different types of promotions, top to bottom, doing all sorts of stuff. It's doing. If I feel like, if I were ever to become really big enough to be like, okay, I can get any of the big interviews, I could just call up AEW and say, hey, send Brit, click, kind of thing. If I. But if that would ever be the case, I'd feel like I could not stop interviewing the up and comers, the women who, and we say up and comers, the women who work the indies and who love working the indies as well, because there's a lot of them who will tell me, I don't care about getting signed. I make a decent living on the indies, and I get to do what I want. I pick my dates, all the freedom that goes along with it. Getting signed isn't a stopgap for me. It's not the end game. I just want to wrestle. That's what I want. And if a good signing happens and everything clicks, good, but that's not necessarily my objective. So, you want to be able to cover it, because the face of women's wrestling is immense. And I'm not trying to say that the face of women's wrestling is fat. I'm trying to say that the face of women's wrestling has a lot of facets to it. It covers a lot of spectrums. Not fat.
I wasn't even taking it like that.
As I was saying, I was like, no, don't say the face of women's wrestling is fat, Warren. Come on.
I wasn't even like taking it like that, and then you said it, and then that's all I started thinking about.
It's just really big, chubby. I'm the face of women's wrestling. I'm like, oh my God, Warren.
This is great. So, again, 910 episodes of your podcast.
Or so, I guess.
Rough estimate. Countless interviews. How Okay, I gotta figure out how to phrase this. Have there been any unexpected moments that have happened while you're recording that kind of made you just go, what the fuck? Oh my god, you start cracking up, you break, anything you can think of off the top of your head?
Oh my God. There's really, I can't think of something completely unexpected. Yeah, this like something
this works?
unexpected.
Perfect.
Um,
I was gonna say, because some people, I mean, you were talking about Yuka, and she was like, well, I would have wrestled a Komodo dragon. Something,
sure.
anything like that you can think of off the top of your head. It's a hard question.
Yeah, because the Yuka thing was, it's a really good story, in and about itself. Where you're like, okay, did she really did just say that? I'm sorry, nothing comes to mind.
Okay.
But it could be, well, maybe it's the onset of this stroke we've been talking about. It could be another, it could be another sign here.
Oh my God. I like that this is the recurring theme of this episode too. Is Warren actually having a stroke?
Okay, well here's something, and I'm sure
ready.
She won't mind if I talk about this.
I'm ready.
I'm getting ready to interview Dark Sheik, right? And it's an interview that Bell to Bell is doing in collaboration with PWI. So it's going to end up also on the PWI radar. Now PWI is a little more PG than what a lot of us do in the podcasting sphere.
Okay.
I shit, fuck, dick, right and left.
Same.
Not that big a deal.
Same.
But for PWI, I sort of tone it down.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm talking with Dark Sheik, and I'm actually interviewing Dark Sheik for the PWI 500, and I wasn't supposed to tell anyone their ranks because we're front loading a lot, but Sheik is one of the last that we're doing. We're getting close to the release, so I'm like, I can tell you if you want, So Sheik is like, oh, that's awesome, and she's super chill, like, it's like, no problem, it's like, that'd be fun, man, kind of thing. She lives on the West Coast, so I'm getting ready to set up and everything, and so I won't tell you what the ranking is, so that you can react accordingly when we start everything. Hey everyone, Mr. Warren Hayes here, Dark Sheik, blah blah blah. We're recording, right? So on and so forth. And how you doing, Dark Sheik? Oh, I'm great. That's awesome. Dark Sheik this year coming in. I'm going to get to announce it to get her reaction on the PWI 500, not the women's 150, the 500 list.
Yeah.
You are coming in at number 399. And she goes, wow, that's great. She's really happy. Time to celebrate. And she pulls out a joint, pops it between her, and starts puffing on it. And I'm like, look, this is, fine by me, but this is not going to fly with my editor in chief here. It's just, oh, I should have asked first. Look, honestly, like,
that's amazing.
Sure, but it's not that big a deal, it's like, so, okay, well, we'll do it over again, kind of. So we re-recorded it because the like I told her, if it had been on my channels exclusively, I'd be like, hey, fantastic, do please celebrate, but
yeah. See, I knew you would think of something great. That's amazing. She really just said, story, yeah. Blaze up. Cool.
It lights up and I'm like, oh, cool. But
oh,
sorry.
Cool.
Cold water. Here you go.
You're like, fuck, no. It's amazing.
She's super cool too.
I mean, she sounds like it.
And she's again, here's another trailblazer that, could easily be lost to history, because she's been doing this for well over a decade, like for a long time. And a very, very important name for the LGBTQ community, wrestling community over on the West Coast as well. You know, she runs Hood Slam, which is a fantastic promotion over there, that caters to everyone, and is not afraid to take risks, you know, kind of thing. So she herself is very important on that level too. So again, you know, it's something that I whenever I have an opportunity to talk about it, I have to hammer it home. You cannot leave the history of wrestling in the hands of one company. You just can't. And you cannot, because the history of wrestling is so rich, full of good, full of bad, just like any history of any business regardless, right? But there's a lot of good, and that has to survive. It has to thrive, and we have to learn about it. We have to know about it. If WWE ends up being the sole proprietor of the history of wrestling, you will never hear about Dark Sheik. Never. You know?
At their WWE kind of sucks a lot of the time, so
it's a hard company to like. It's a hard company to like.
Yeah.
That's putting it mildly?
It's putting it nicely.
Okay. I'm a Canadian. I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, see, Canadians, nice. I told you. I literally told you this before we started recording, that Canadians are nice people. Americans kind of actually suck.
But what did I tell you? Do you remember what I told you? I said we do have people here in Canada who suck as well. We call them Albertans.
Well, good thing people don't listen to me in Canada, so...
But hey, shout out to all the Albertans right now who might be listening. Like Katie has no idea, right? I tell her the joke and it goes 70 feet over her head because it's a purely Canadian gag right there. But no, it's a joke. I love Albertans. Spencer Love from Love Wrestling. Love you, my man. He's Albertan and he's the only one I can stomach. So there you go. Thank you.
Salud.
I'm kidding. It's a joke. The Hart family are from Alberta. You know, Alberta. I'm just being stupid.
No, you're being great.
But most Albertans are jerks, for the record. It's the Texas of Canada, is what it is. No. She's laughing, but I'm not kidding. There, in Calgary, once a year, there's this huge event called the Calgary Stampede. If you live in Canada, you know about this. Like, it's not a local thing. It is a national treasure of an event. And it's going to be like, I don't know, a week of rodeo shit, guys riding bulls and, you know, lassoing down calves. What do you do in a rodeo? You know, that kind of stuff. It happens for over a week. It's this huge competition. It's a huge deal. And there's SUVs everywhere. Everyone barbecues. Yeah. You know, it's the only province in the country that in Canada that wants looser gun control it's the Texas of Canada. I know what I'm talking about.
Kind of sounds like it. Jesus.
And in Quebec, we're the douchebags. Well, there you go. It all evens out.
There you go. I'm from Pennsylvania, so I get it.
Are Pennsylvanians douchebags?
Specifically people from Pittsburgh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now
I know what you're talking about. Okay. I know a lot about the rivalries in the rivalries because of the Kroll show. Have you ever watched that?
I've seen a few episodes of the Kroll show, yeah.
Because he has this whole series of pawn shop owners as sketches, right? Mm-hmm. Little bits. They're pawn shop owners, and one guy's in Pittsburgh, the other guy's in
Philly.
And they're cousins, but they're feuding cousins. So that's where I got a lot of my Pennsylvania, Philly, Pittsburgh warfare.
It's true though. It's crazy. Like, I have a friend who lives on that side of the state, and I talk to her all the time, but I haven't seen her because she came to college up here, or over here, I guess, and she lives on that side of the state. I'm like, I would come see you, but that means I have to be near Philly, and I don't know if I can do that.
Wow.
It's not even that. I just don't have a working car right now. That's actually the reason.
But y'all have Philly's the city that has the cracked bell, right? The thing.
Yeah, the Liberty Bell.
It's the city of brotherly love.
Yeah.
Right?
But Philadelphia. Listen, especially when it comes to sports, it is
Yeah, no,
head to head.
sure.
But Pittsburgh greater than Philadelphia. Whatever. You have no
Look,
say in this. It's okay.
I'm not picking a side.
You
I,
pick my side.
okay, I'll pick Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is cool. You know what I like about the Pittsburgh, and I swear the stroke is coming. You know what I like about the Pittsburgh sports teams? They all have the same color scheme. It's all the black, the gold, the white.
Yep.
You know, whether it's in the NFL, the NHL, you know, and honestly, a lot of Canadians feel very, very close to Pittsburgh because you have housed two of our greatest hockey exports of all time, Sidney Crosby and Mario Lemieux.
Hell yeah.
You know, which we bestowed upon ye with great pride.
Thank you. Seriously, we needed it.
Oh, you're very welcome. God damn, you're welcome.
Seriously.
So but I'd feel like there's a lot of kinship between around here and with Pittsburgh because mostly because of hockey. Everything is about hockey.
Everything's about hockey. Mm-hmm. I mean, hockey's like the only sport I watch. So.
And wrestling.
Well, I don't really count wrestling as a sport. It's just entertainment to me at this point. I just watch it every week. I don't really consider it a sport. It's a sport, but that's another podcast.
I know.
So we brought up hockey because, you know, the rivalry between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Besides podcasting, because you do it a lot, do you have any other hobbies that you like to do?
No.
Nothing else?
No time for hobbies.
Nothing else? You do nothing?
No. I surprisingly enough, I consume a lot of media. I'm not gonna lie. I listen to a shitload of music. I like to keep up with current trends and whatnot. I used to, in another life, I was a music blogger for another site. Yeah, but we're not diving into that today. We're not diving into that today.
Am I gonna have to make a part two?
Maybe next time, because it's towards when my second kid was born. Okay. I got in. Look, without naming anything, we'll paint it broad strokes. Okay. When my second kid was born, I took a shit ton of paternity leave, so I had a little more time on my hands. Didn't have the constraints of work and so on and so forth, and I don't know. I just sort of fell into it. Started writing for another blogging site at the time.
I'll make you tell me after the recording.
So it was always it wasn't Pitchfork. I'll tell you that. Okay, straight off the bat, it wasn't that. But it was a close, not a close competitor, but a Pitchfork wannabe kind of website where we'd review current upcoming music, and it was mostly tracks. I'd listen to singles that we'd get, and then I'd give those the little 500 word treatment, So it was a lot of fun. So I listened to a lot of music. Love video games. I really love video games, and I finished playing Inscription.
Okay. And
that's Inscription with a Y, the second I, INSCRYPTION.
Yeah.
Probably
I've seen things about it. I haven't played it, but I've seen stuff about it.
It's probably one of my favorite video games I played this year.
Okay.
It's really good. Yeah. Yep. And it's a card building game, where you go, you build a deck of cards, you collect cards.
Yeah.
But not like Yu-Gi-Oh. It's not like that. No, it's not like that.
It's not Yu-Gi-Oh. Damn it.
You actually get cards in the game. You're not like opening packs and paying DLC and shit like that. No. The cards are all in the game, and you get all the cards, and then you pick the cards, and you're like, I think this card would work well with this one, and you build your deck like that kind of thing. and then there's a whole thing. But honestly, it's really the kind of game that if I give you too much information, it's going to get spoilery, and you don't want this game spoiled. Trust me.
Okay. I will
Like
trust
on
you on this.
any, you go in blind. It was a treat. Took me about 20 hours to finish the game.
Damn.
And I was very disappointed when it was done. Not because the ending sucks, it's because I wanted to play more. I'm not done with this game.
I get that.
Well, I should give the impression that I don't always sit on my ass, right? I like to hike.
Okay.
Hiking is probably the one thing that I like about sports. Like I can
Full circle.
like I can't. Yeah, I'm not good at team sports. I never was. I played baseball when I was a kid. My parents had me do everything. I played the soccer. I played the baseball. I played. Well, we didn't have like football really here. What else did they have me do? They had me do scouts. I did scouts for a couple of years. Scouts is fun. So, you know, of course, then you do a whole lot of different sports. You do the kickball and you do, all that shit. And t-ball and all that. But I was never really good at team sports regardless. Hiking is cool. Hiking, I like the idea of heading out into a forest, and then you're like, okay, that's my destination. Like, okay, that set of caves over there, or the top of that little hill section. And let's do it. And you go and you enjoy it. It's hot and you're sweating, and then you get there and you're like, this is awesome. And you sit down, you relax, you take nature in. It's very refreshing. Then you walk back. Usually it's a lot easier because it's downhill.
Exactly. And
then you're like, then you go home. That's probably the most sporty I get.
There you go.
That means I get good boots. But the one thing, I learned to hate baseball as a kid, though.
Okay.
And to this day, I don't understand baseball. It's the stupidest sport. Tell me I'm wrong, Katie.
I mean, I don't know. I really like contact sports, so baseball.
Well, see, right, because that's the thing. Like, at least there's always like something going on. There's a test of strength. Like football, I watched football religiously in the 90s, right? Like I was there for the failings, for the brass ring just being out of the grasp of the Buffalo Bills back then. I was there for the rise of the 49ers. Like I saw it all, right, for that. And I liked football. I liked the strategy aspect of it. It's like setting things up and then the pause and then everyone resets. And I like that part of it, the war part of it. Baseball, it's like what, 9 guys standing around waiting for a ball, and then you got the guy with his stick and he has to swing it, and hopefully he'll be able. It is, and there's so much fucking waiting in baseball. People are just standing there doing nothing. And then I talk with a couple of my friends, and they're like, yeah, it's great. But you go in the stands, and then you drink. You get the beers, and you start drinking because they go to minor league games around here. I'm like, you can drink from home. You go to the baseball game, all 4 of you. Why don't you go to your place, just try, and fire up the barbecue. Then on top of that, you'll have some food.
True.
But instead, and they're just standing around waiting, and then suddenly there's a guy that's going to burst. He's going to run. Oh, he made it to first base. What an athlete. Christ. He ran really fast from one spot to another. Then he stopped. Holy shit. The other guy threw the ball. Then this other guy caught it. Wow. What a catcher. Star athlete. The only guy I have respect for is the shortstop, because the shortstop never knows when he has to go or not. The shortstop's the only guy. Is it the left fielder who's going to catch her? Is it the shortstop? Is it going to be the guy in second base? Like, what is he supposed to do? I have respect for that guy because he has the most ambiguous position out of everyone on that board. Because it's a board. Yeah. Anyway,
Jesus.
it's all dumb.
Wait, I'm crying. So fucking funny. Oh man. So any other hobbies, Warren? Besides you hating baseball with a burning passion?
Look, I'm very much very yeah, video games, board games as well. Play a lot of those.
Okay.
That's really those are. Oh, and I cook. I cook a lot. I like to cook.
I
like
have
to
seen
cook.
some of your food on Twitter. It's very nice.
Cooking is fun. It's very it's the quickest way I find to, well, two things.
Okay.
But hang on. Oh no, I'll stick with cooking because I like plants. I like taking care of plants, but I wouldn't say I have necessarily a green thumb or anything. But there's something always good about doing something with your hands. And I think, you know, when we do a lot of content creation, and you know, my regular job as well requires me to be in front of a computer quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like cooking is so tangible and real. You know, you get into it, you start making things. Start adding spices, everything becomes fragrant, and there's sort of a reconnection that happens. You know, it's like everything becomes real again. I'm making something, and I'm making something useful and tangible that is going to feed the people I love, kind of thing. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I'm no master chef. You know, if you were to send me to Chopped or something, I'd get eliminated straight off the first round, and it'd be like, so what did you make us, Warren? Corn.
I've made you corn.
Yeah, it's like corn with butter, and I put some fresh thyme in the butter. It's like, you know, this basic shit. They'll be like, okay, thank you, but you're gone. But yeah, no, it's but I really do like cooking. I wish I could bake bread better. I tried. I'm okay at it, but I wish I could be better. I think that's going to be a goal of mine. To become a proper bread maker.
That's a good goal. There you go. Not a typical goal people have, but a very unique goal.
You know, because it's frustrating when you go to these real bakeries. Like I make my bread, and the bread is, you know how some are airy.
Yeah.
You know, like you get a nice baguette, let's say, right? You crack it open and it's nice and airy, and it's light, and so my bread is nice and moist, but it's very compact.
Okay.
Like it doesn't have that open flowiness.
Airiness,
I don't know.
To it.
Yeah. There's some airiness. I wish I could get that. I'll keep at it.
I think you just got to keep trying.
I think I do have to just keep trying. I'll make it happen.
You gotta let me know if you make the perfect loaf of bread. I'm gonna have to know when this happens.
Oh, I'll let you know. I'll let the whole fucking world know.
You're gonna like just make a whole YouTube video about it. You're gonna put it everywhere. You're gonna be like, I fucking did it.
I made it.
The perfect.
And then
loaf of
will
bread.
I be able to do it again?
Ooh, a saga.
That'll be the question.
That's a way to get the people hooked. Can he do it twice, folks?
Exactly.
Can he do it twice? I love that for you. I can't wait for you to have the perfect loaf of bread. You deserve it.
I can't wait either.
You deserve it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, this is a question I ask everyone, like all of these, but this one I always like to hear. So, if you could have a dinner, right? Maybe you don't specifically have to make it. I know you like to cook, but you don't have to make it. It's okay.
All right. Fair.
With any 3 wrestlers, dead or alive, who would you choose and why? You don't have to tell me why if you don't want to.
3 wrestlers that I'd have over for dinner.
Dead or alive?
Roddy Piper.
Okay.
I think for the obvious reasons. I mean, it's just stories upon stories upon stories. I think he'd be a blast to have.
Yeah.
Who else would I like to have dinner with? Shingo Takagi.
Okay.
I don't know how great of dinner company he is, but just having him at the table would be pretty cool.
Nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. And man, and Bailey.
Okay.
That'd be my trio.
I feel like that's a good trio.
Roddy Piper, Shingo Takagi, and Bailey. I think that'd be an interesting soiree.
I would love to watch the table for 4 technically on that.
And see what happens, and Shingo basically sitting there, and I don't know how great his English is. I don't think it's all that great.
That's okay. Entertainment.
Be interesting.
As long as you have a good time, that's all that matters. This is your dinner.
Yeah, it's my dinner. I invited you people here.
Exactly.
There you go.
So, you've been doing this podcasting, everything, since 2017, 2018. We'll say around that time. Do you have any advice for anyone starting, or it doesn't even have to be in the podcasting realm, just any advice you want to give the people listening or watching?
Get a good mic. Try that, and that's always what I've told everyone who's ever asked me. It's like just try it.
Yeah.
You know, I started with writing because like I said, I used to do music blogging. I've written before.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I could do this for wrestling.
Yeah.
And I just reached out and was like, and no one pointed. I knew no one. I knew no one at that point. So, find a spot that you can grow into. So that's a good entry point. Fan-sided was perfect for that. Daily DDT, and I appreciate that. There was a lot of us who were starting at that time that were around there, and it was just like, okay, so that's a great entry point. But just try it out. And even if you don't want to go to an established publication or a network or whatever, it has never been this easy to start on your own and just try some stuff out. And trying is part and parcel of it, because it's not going to be great when you're going to start. It's not going to be great, but you're going to grow into it, and you're going to look back. If you have the humility, you'll be able to look back at what you're doing, see what you're doing wrong, and improve on it. You just have to be able to have that distance, right? Where you're able to look back. What am I doing wrong? What can I do better? And you can reach out to others and ask for that kind of advice. Humility goes a long way. Just being humble about yourself, realizing, where you are, what you're doing, doesn't mean you can't have lofty goals.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to be the next Dave Meltzer? Knock yourself out. Go for it. I endorse you. Have dreams, right?
Yeah.
But you also have to have kind of like that humility to be like, okay, well, I'm not the next Dave Meltzer right now, but I'll work towards it. Good for you. That's fantastic. Just but try stuff out, and something eventually is going to resonate with you. If it resonates with you, it will resonate with people. That's what I'm nothing special. No, for real. I'm a middle-aged white guy talking about wrestling. Is there anything more fucking basic than that in the podcasting space? I'm not even kidding. For real though. Yeah. So I'm nothing special, and I know this, but the comment that I get the most is that, we like it because we listen to you because you talk with passion, you have fun talking about it. It shows that you like wrestling. Well, that's the thing. Wrestling resonates with me, so I'm able to communicate that. I'm able to get that across. So it resonates with other people. Like I said, if it resonates with you, it'll resonate with others, and you'll get the audience. You'll always end up getting the audience you deserve. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah. I love that. Just try it. See,
Just try.
Yeah, there's nothing, and that can be applied to anything in life, not even just this, just everything in your life.
I mean, don't just try, skinning cats.
Oh,
that I would discourage. For
did not
instance,
expect that to go where it did.
No, but there's things that you don't have to try that will not be good.
Well,
regardless, but as far as media goes, there's just so much stuff. Excuse me. there's so much stuff, and there's so many platforms and avenues to get your stuff out there. YouTube, Twitch, Anchor for podcasting, and Podbean, and there's just stuff all across the board.
Yeah,
it's frustrating at first, because at first you're not going to get any people listening to you. It's a grind, but it's the grind that pays off, because if hard work, passion does translate. It really does. And above anything else, above any gimmicks that you can try to connect to what you're doing, passion, love of what you're doing, that connects with people.
I agree 100%. See, now you got me coughing over here.
You've got the stroke. It's contagious.
Stop it.
I'm spreading the stroke.
I don't think
that sounds wrong.
No. This isn't Matt's show, Warren. Come on now.
No spit or swallowing on this one.
No, not on this one. No, that's specifically for Matt, and he'll appreciate the shout out we give him when he listens to this. So.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
He will. I mean, the last time the three of us worked together, we had a blast. So we'll have to make it happen again. Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. It was a ton of fun. Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
So much fun. Matt, when you're listening, we have to make it happen again. There's no ifs, ands, about it. So, you say you're just like the normal, typical middle-aged white man. I disagree. Whatever. That's neither here nor there. If you could, or you had to write an autobiography, what would be the title, and why are you choosing that as your title?
The title of my autobiography?
Yes.
Why would you read this?
I feel like that was somebody else's too.
Or, I don't know. Why would it's so nondescript. Like I don't know. No one. Why would anyone want to read my autobiography?
You'd be surprised. There could be something in your life that has happened that could resonate with somebody. Maybe. You have no idea. Maybe somebody wants to be a music blogger, and you talk about it, and they're like, "Well, if Warren."
There's reasons why I'm not anymore, by the way. So but maybe I can. Yeah. Anyway.
Like I said, you never know, what could happen, or just any type of story you tell from a personal experience that somebody else is just like, you know what?
Sure.
That's like me. Like, people who watch wrestling, especially little kids, they look up to a specific person, like a Roman or a Bailey or whoever, and they're just like, that's who I want to be. That's that. Somebody could feel that way if they read your autobiography, if you write one.
Look up to the Baileys and the Bryan Danielsons and the Roman Reigns. Don't look up to me. I sit in front of a camera with a quality microphone, mind you, and I complain about pro wrestling. There's nothing. No, come on now. No, but I appreciate what you're saying. Like, I really do, and but that's I look at my background. Sure, there's been stuff there, and there's been trials and tribulations, just like anyone else's. But I don't feel like there's anything really special to glean out of it. I am much more content having an opportunity to create a community around which we can talk about pro wrestling, right? Just getting like-minded people coming around, being able to share on pro wrestling on the level that they like, right? Because there's all sorts of different ways to approach wrestling and to enjoy it. You can like Puroresu, and that's fine. You can just like, WWE, and that's fine too. Whatever floats your boat, just find a community and attach yourself to that. And that's my goal ultimately. I find, like, if anything, pro wrestling fans I think one of the reasons why pro wrestling fans are so passionate about what they like and don't like on Twitter is because I think that it's easy to be poked fun at when you talk to people who don't watch wrestling, and you're, and then you sort of get the side eyes and like, really? Does he know it's fake? Kind of thing, all that stuff. And I think it's easy for that. So when you find people who are like-minded, then you get excited. Then you're like, all right, everyone wants to be accepted. Everyone wants to be loved and accepted into something. It's basic.
Yeah.
So you get into wrestling, you find your niche, you find, these people like this type of wrestling, or AEW, or, women's wrestling, and then you gravitate around those. And then that's why there's clashes.
Yep.
Because it's like, no, I like my thing, and this is my little community, these are my people, and I don't want you guys coming in here with your poison or whatever.
A lot of gatekeeping
happens,
yes.
And which is weird because, on the outside looking in, we want to be accepted. Why wouldn't we accept? So that's ultimately what I want to do. I just want to create a playing field where people can come in and talk about the type of wrestling they want. Obviously something that resembles what I like as far as pro wrestling goes, because then I get to connect with people who enjoy wrestling kind of like I do.
Yeah.
Who don't, I don't necessarily want to chat wrestling with people who are into, evening gown matches from the 90s. I don't care, but I'm not gonna, or people who are really into Goldberg's body of work. No, that's fine. That's all right. We're good. Thank you. Ultimately, that's what I want. It's acting right now. It's, just building a community, trying to in my little way, and again, I don't want to sound arrogant, but sort of try and bring people together on that level. It sounds kind of corny when I say it, but that's the general, it's a sincere sentiment.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
I like that. I would read your autobiography because I think it'd be entertaining as fuck. So that's one of the reasons I would read it.
Pressure's on. Maybe it's, if it's a graphic novel, it'd be dope. That'd be fun. A graphic novel I'd go for. That'd be fun.
I mean, I can't be mad at it. Graphic novels are fucking cool.
Yeah. I agree.
You gotta make it happen now. Just as like a future goal for yourself. Just attempt any type of graphic novel about your life. I will pay whatever to see it.
Well, I mean, there's an audience of one, so I might just have to get into
that
it.
That audience may grow once this comes out. Tell all the people you know. Would you read a graphic novel about my life? Maybe. Count it as a yes. All the maybes you count as yeses, and there you go from there.
All right, look. Let's put it on the maybe pile.
Okay,
how about that?
That's a win for me, so thank you. So, do you have any future plans? Now, this comes out December 13th, so anything you have planned for the rest of the year or like into January you want to give a little insight to?
As far as wrestling and stuff goes, that I want to do?
Anything you're doing.
I keep swatting my mic. I guess
You're
gotta be careful.
over there.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be doing some Wrestle Kingdom post shows this year. So immediately after nights 1 and 2 of Wrestle Kingdom, because those will be happening first and foremost. I'll be doing some post shows. Probably be joined by a fellow New Japan aficionado as well. So, since it's still early when we're recording this, I can't say exactly if if my guess is accepting or not. But definitely. So check that out. I'll be recording that live on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, and you can also pick it up as a podcast after that on all your favorite podcast applications too. Yeah. Probably be doing a post show as well for the third night of Wrestle Kingdom, which is the big New Japan Noah showdown, the cross promotion show. Yeah, that'll be dope. I'm excited to see what matches. At the time that we're recording right now, they haven't announced any matches.
Yeah.
So we've all got our dream matches, but yeah, it should be like I really want to see Shingo versus Nakajima. I really, really want to see that. That'd be amazing. I hope we get it, but we'll see. It's all coming up. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's my co-host Savannah, her main focus is New Japan, so
Sure.
she loves that. When I think she's gonna start her show all about New Japan during Wrestle Kingdom, so I'm very excited about that. And that way, like, she gets her own little thing, like, because I have this, and I do the collab show, and we both do She Elite, but that way she gets her own little thing, and I'm letting her.
About New Japan.
I told her, I was like, it's your baby. You do whatever you want. If you need me to upload it, I will do it. It's all you. I don't understand jack shit about New Japan. I know who some of the people are. I've never watched it because I don't have time.
Well, no, I get it. You know, Kristen, right? Mm-hmm. Didn't follow New Japan at all until we started dating and whatnot, and then you know what got her in? Maybe this is a name you know. Hiromu Takahashi is what got her in.
Yeah.
And that's because Hiromu is a handsome boy. He is a very handsome boy. So you know, sometimes you just use, you know, and he's the kind of guy I can't get mad. Like, you know, she fawns over him. I can't get mad because, you know, Hiromu's the kind of guy that you know, challenges my own systems and beliefs. You know what I mean? There's guys like that in wrestling that I just look at them and I'm like, you know what?
Perhaps.
You know, like Drew McIntyre.
Beautiful man.
You just want to rest your head on that chest of his, you know?
Yes. Thank you. See, you get it.
That's how it is. I mean, it's normal, I think, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, it's a little different for me because I am bisexual, so
okay.
It's a common theme with Matt and the guys at Young Kings. The thirst becomes very real when all of us are together, so it's bad. So I get it, trust me. But it's fun because I'm basically just one of the guys at that point. Like, I join in.
Sure.
So it's fun. Like Mandy Rose, Toxic Attraction. We love Toxic Attraction. So
Mandy's not my type, though. That's not my. That's very not much my. No, she's not my type.
She wasn't, and then she won the title, and then I'm just like, well, maybe.
Well, I mean, look, there's nothing like there's nothing wrong with her. Like, you know, but you know, it's not. She's not someone I get necessarily, but I don't. It's weird because like the women wrestlers, I don't get. There's none of them that will maybe like trigger me in the way like a Drew McIntyre will, you know.
So they all just have to be Drew McIntyre. Got it. Duly noted. Everyone has
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
We could just go on. I gotta put an end to that before. Whew. Oh my god. Alright, Warren, I've asked you so many questions. Do you have any questions for me? About anything.
About anything.
Anything you want to know about me, what have you, feel free to ask.
How many pets do you own?
I have one. I have a cat.
A cat? What's the name of the cat?
His name is Lucky. He's an all-black cat. We found him.
He's a rescue kind of thing?
Yeah. Like 10 years ago. He's very old.
Oh, he's an older cat.
He's my little baby. I love him to death.
Good cat?
Yeah, he's good.
Does he get into scraps? Is he an outside cat?
No. He's very much inside. The one time he like tried to go outside, and then he was just like, I don't want it. No, thank you. So he's very much an indoor cat.
I get it. I had years ago one cat that was an indoor cat as well. His name was Jedi. He was he was kind of like a dog. I'd throw shit at him, he'd bring it back. You know, we'd play fetch, and one time he did sort of sneak out as I was opening the door to where I was living at the time, and it had just freshly rained. So and the door would open onto a wooden deck, and Jedi sort of jumped out like really, really fast, and because like, ha, I got out, and then he froze. And then he started doing this thing where he's like, oh, I don't want my, everything is wet. And he's like, oh, no. And, he's sort of lifting his paws like, and he just dashed back into the house. I was like, there you go. You're done.
Cats are great.
You'd never last 5 minutes in my world, cat.
Cats are great, honestly.
Yes.
They're great too.
Absolutely. I own a bird right now.
You want a bird?
Yes,
That's
parakeet.
Cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good bird. Good. Birds are very social creatures. Very, very social. They like to hang around you. They like when you talk to them, when you whistle at them. Then at some point they'll just screw off and go do something. The next thing you know, they're coming back, or they're talking at you from all the way over there, and you respond back. You go, and they respond back.
I love doing that like at pet stores. I just like whistling at the birds because I like getting responses.
Yeah.
Because I know you're talking back, so like I'm gonna keep talking to you.
They're very social creatures. They really like interaction.
Yeah.
Like technically, if you buy two birds and you put them in a cage, typically you're screwed. You won't be able to develop a bond with them. A bird has to imprint on you. So if you buy a bird alone, solitary, there's a very fair chance that bird is going to become like your top best friend.
There you go.
Ever.
I might.
They'll show it in weird ways, like shitting on your shoulder, but it's like it's still friendship.
It's the little things in life.
It's the little things.
Did you have other questions for me?
What you have prescription eyewear. What is is trouble seeing afar, up close, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B?
I am at this point a little less than half blind in my right eye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been wearing glasses.
Just happening naturally, or
I got glasses the second half of kindergarten, so I've been wearing them ever since then. I'm 25 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a long time, like 20 years of wearing glasses. They're great. Pain in the ass. That's what they always are. But I do have a slight astigmatism, which I found out, which I kind of knew, but then like was just confirmed when I went last month. I also have a lazy eye. I learned how to say amblyopia as a child. Like that's a thing. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got a lot of eye issues, but I got glasses. Yay. Woo. I mean, I can see perfectly without them. It's just I have them to enhance my vision.
Sure. Okay. Gotcha.
What about you? You also have prescription eyewear, I'm assuming?
I do. Very, very blurry far vision.
Okay.
I say very, very blurry.
Very blurry.
And and I even have like you can't tell because when you to read up close too. Apparently, like the last time I went to get my eyes checked, said, oh, you're reading your close up vision is. So I can't remember the terms. I'm sorry. I sound like a complete doofus. Yeah, your close up reading is degrading, sir. So we're gonna put progressive lenses.
Okay.
Like an old man, right?
You're not that old though.
So I was like, well, I don't want I don't want that because you've seen it before, right? Your old uncles or your grandfather, they had this little square in their glasses, on the bottom, which is the ultimate symbol that you're old when you have that little indent in the glasses. But they said no, now we really do them progressively. They mesh with the rest of the lens, and you don't see them, and you can't tell that I have progressive.
I never would have known.
Yeah.
Look at that sly guy over here. See, you're not old now.
No, I'm still very old. I'm very, very old. 3 years till I'm 50.
You don't look it though.
The cool thing is that here's the exciting part. Here's the really exciting part that I'm looking forward to. Once I hit 50, that means I get cheaper tickets to the zoo.
That's all you need, really.
Absolutely. Go hang out at the zoo. I love zoos.
Me too.
Go visit a city is like, where's the zoo? We don't have time to go to, where's the zoo?
We don't have time. Where the fuck is the zoo?
Where's the zoo? I have to see their reptile compound. I have to see if it's up to snuff. What, they have tigers here? Yes, we're going.
The amount of times I have wheezed from laughing is not okay. I don't
Zoos are great.
do that.
I visit Spain. I go to Madrid a couple of years ago.
You went to the zoo in Madrid?
Yeah, and it's a rockin' zoo. And here's what's really fun: when you go to a zoo like in Europe and you know, it's a different climate in Spain, right? It's very, very hot.
Yeah.
So for them, like the boreal forest, you know, of Canada is exotic, you know. So you're going into the North American area, and it's like, oh, that's a moose. The elk, beavers, been there, you know. It's like I'm actually teaching them. I'm actually teaching the guy who's giving us the tour of the zoo, the guide. I'm telling him, beavers. No, they usually live upstream, but here, you know, you'd usually think that they build the dams within a couple of days, but no, it requires a lot of work, and dams are usually passed down from generation to generation of beavers. And the guy's like, ¿Qué? No, ni comprendo, you know, it's like, because he's speaking Spanish and I'm in English. But I'm trying to school him on beaver dams, and he doesn't get it.
You do have a lot of knowledge of beaver dams. I love that.
Well, we're Canadians. The beaver is our national animal. It's our national national emblem.
Emblem?
Whatever you want to call it. It's the beaver. It's the Canadian national animal. I don't know what you call it. But there's a term for that. No, what? Beavers are industrious. They're tireless. They work hard.
I don't know.
They contribute to the growth of wildlife, preservation of clean water.
Yeah.
No, beavers, man, they work hard. It's a rodent. Don't get sure, but related to rats. Sure.
Yeah.
But still very, very industrious. That's our national animal. I think our national bird is the loon, the Canadian loon.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like a big goose. Well, you've seen though. They've got, like, you know, they're sort of gray and they have the black neck. They have like a white collar.
Oh,
you know?
I have seen those. Okay.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah, you've seen those.
You just had to. I'm a visual person. We talked about this. I had to visualize it.
Americans have eagles. You know, they'll swoop in and they'll fucking rip your throat right off of you if they want to. You know, loons, they travel in V's in the air to preserve energy. You know, and it's aerodynamic, so it preserves energy. You know, so two different ways of celebrating our national birds.
Yeah, I mean. Now, you said a loon is like a big goose. Does that mean it honks?
Yeah. Oh, no, it has a terrible... Yeah. But honestly...
I'm going to have to look it up later.
You'll definitely find videos of... Because you know, they do travel like in huge flocks. That's the word I was looking for. And there's videos, you know, of them on beaches, and then they suddenly all take off, and the noise it makes, it's like
the battle cry.
It's like, you know, it's like Pinhead opening the gates of hell from his little box. God. You know, it's like, it's ridiculous the sound it makes, but they're graceful. They're huge. They're big birds.
Sounds like a great time.
Big birds.
So if I ever go to Canada, which I do want to go to Canada eventually, I'll stay away from the loons. I don't want to get.
You don't want you can see the loons. It's cool to see the loons. If I see one,
and if I hear it, and if it's as terrifying as you're saying, I'm running.
Because they're not aggressive. They're not like swans. Swans are fucking bastards.
No, geese are also bastards.
Swans are worse. Swans will come at you for no reason. Swans pick fights. Swans are just there to pick fights. They're literally the guys at the bar with the spiked gel hair,
Ew.
right? They're just looking around to fight someone. Yeah. That's what they do. They hang around the pond, and you've got the ducks, the nice little mallards. You've got the geese who are around there, which are just minding their own business, and all of a sudden, fucking swan will come right at you, and they're huge birds at the same time, and they're spreading their wings, and fucking that fucking neck that they got, they're just coming right for you. Just hit the bricks, man. Terrifying shit.
Oh my god, I love this so much.
I love wrestling though too, by the way. Wrestling's pretty cool.
Yeah, can you imagine wrestling but swans attacking people?
Yeah. Well, someone says, my gimmick is the swan, and everyone's like, gay or whatever, it's like, but honestly, swans are so aggressive. They're so mean,
I love that so much. I hope somebody comes out with a gimmick now that is the swan. I hope you spoke it into the ether, and now somebody's gonna have it, and they make it big.
Yeah.
Fucking
killer swan.
Killer. There it is. Killer swan. Somebody make it happen, please, for the love of God.
Sure.
So did you have anything else you wanted to ask me, or you want to keep bullshitting about birds?
No, I think we're good. I think it's fine.
It's fair. Okay. I gotta say, that is the first time I have been asked questions that had nothing to do with podcasting, and I love it.
Oh, well, do you like podcasting?
I do. I finally hit a year in August.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Because I don't know if you actually know this. I used to be with Smackdraw. With Kyle and Dave. So I used to, before Bama. But, I was a part of that, and then I left. I started this. And this has now become my child, basically. So we started doing Sheelite. I made the channel and everything in September. So I'm only going on 2 months of being my own boss, kind of this is how I'm running it, kind of
doing my own thing.
Exactly. So that's how I started thinking of, well, I kind of want to do interviews, but I would like to eventually interview wrestlers, but for now, interviewing podcasters who have also done interviews is an interesting take, because the interviewers are getting interviewed. So I like that. They get to be in the hot seat for once, which is kind of why I started this. And I have a core group of friends on Twitter in the wrestling community. I've talked about them all the time. We have a group chat called the Cafeteria. It's great. They're the coolest people. So I've grown to love podcasting, especially over the past year. Yeah.
I'm not surprised. It's one of those things that the more you do it, the more you enjoy it. If you latch onto it, it really gets to you. So that's cool. That's wonderful that you like it so much.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you're gonna disapprove of what I'm saying, but you were one of the big names I wanted to talk to.
What a disappointment!
Shut the fuck up. It's great.
Weird. No, it's just weird. It's weird because I don't perceive myself as that in any way, shape, or form. And it's I wanted to reach out to you, but I was afraid. I'm like, why? No, just I'll always reach out, and most of the time I'll say yes. And if I can't say yes, I'll say soon. That's just how we all need to prop each other up. We all need to work together and do things together, because that's how it's really a situation that if the good keeps rising, it's good for everyone. Everyone sees the good, everyone understands that it's good, and the good just makes everything float. So it's really important, I find. I'm glad you reached out, because this was a lot of this really was a lot of fun. And I'm glad you did.
I'm so happy you were just yeah. And again, I'm thankful to Matt. He was just Katie, since Vince can't be here, do you wanna be on the show? I was with Warren? Fuck yes. Let's make it happen. And then we happened to be like, well, Katie does this interview thing. Do you want to do this? Maybe, sure.
Sure.
And then I waited for you to go through all your PWI stuff, give you a break.
Which I appreciate.
You were a busy man for a while, so I was just like, I'll wait a little bit, and we made it fucking happen.
There you go.
And now I appreciate it. You gotta tell the people where they can find you on all the things.
YouTube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes is where the magic happens. I record a podcast live there every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. I sort of talk about whatever happened in the week, whatever I feel like talking about. Big news, small news, some as big as your head. And lively chat, some good times. You should come join. If you can't, the video is on demand, of course, but you can also find me on your favorite podcast application. Mr. Warren Hayes Show is there for sure. Otherwise, follow me on Twitter at Mr. Warren Hayes.
If you're watching the video, his Twitter handle is on the screen. Also, the link to everything will be in the description of the video and the audio. Thank you for being Vanna White for me, Warren. I appreciate it. It's great.
You want to talk about inspirations?
Vanna fucking White. There you go. And of course, you can find me on Twitter at KatieWrestling13. I have a link tree in my bio that'll take you to all things She Lead Showcase, the YouTube, twitch.tv/She Lead Showcase. Try saying that 5 times fast because it's a fucking tongue twister. I did it to myself. I hate it. Sadly, we go live the same time you do, so I never am able to actually catch your live show. So, guys, just go watch Warren's. His is way more entertaining. You can watch our videos.
No. If you're already watching Katie, catch me later. Do it later. Catch Katie. Go watch Katie live. What are you talking about? You're already watching her. You're in a good spot. You're well taken care of. Continue watching it.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I do say, like, the live chats are one of the best parts about streaming on Twitch.
Yes.
It's the people just coming in, and then they can just take over the show if I let it. If I happen to look, because I don't have anything pop up on the screen. I just have a separate computer where I can see everything. They really try and break you. It's mainly my friends though, so I can't even be mad at it.
Oh, so you can't be mad at them.
I can't be mad. They'll be mad back.
You have to accept them for who they are.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then of course, Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. If you liked this, leave a review on it. I'm gonna do more, but we're eventually gonna try and do this, but with me as like the guest. So we're trying to figure all that out, and I kind of don't want to, but at the same time I do. It's gonna be something. But thank you again, Warren, for doing this with me. I hope you had a fantastic time.
I really did. This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me, Katie. I appreciate it, and anytime, I'll be back.
We're gonna have to do a part 2. There is no friends or buts about it. Like, it's gonna fucking happen. This might be the only part 2 in the series I do. I don't care. It's gotta happen.
We'll have the autobiography ready next time.
This time next year, there will be an autobiography, graphic novel. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe. Who knows? We'll see. It's a long year.
It's a long shot, too. But hey, I did put it in the maybe pile, so there you go.
You did. It's in the maybe pile.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.